What is up, guys? It is the Sports Sir Bradley Walker, and welcome to Sunshine State Sports Chat. I know, guys, this show is usually on Friday nights, but I had a long week at work and wanted to make this show up. First of all, guys, I want to say that Happy Father's Day to all of the dads out there, both if you have a human child or a furry child, and also Happy Father's Day to the single moms out there as well. So happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Again, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is part of NGSC Sports. Remember the website, guys. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. I'm also being airlived on Coast to Coast Entertainment as well. And, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And guys, if you missed this show or the Walker Report, which was just added to my YouTube channel today, it's been a rough week for me, guys. A long week for me with work and having to move offices. So I do apologize. I know my writing hasn't been consistent over the last few weeks either, because like I said, we've just been hit with just a lot of I've just been busy, and I do apologize, guys. There will be no show next week or writing. I am taking the week off as I am preparing my apartment for my roommate to move in on over the weekend next week, maybe next Sunday at this time. He will be here, so there will be no show. I'm going to take the week to clean my room, to clean where he will be living, to clean everything up and get everything ready to go. So I'm taking the week. And then on top of that, guys, I will be at the Tampa Bay Rays Boston Red Sox game on Tuesday night. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But with all that being said, guys, welcome in to the Sunshine State Sports. Like I said, I know normally this show is on Friday nights, but I moved it to Sunday this week. And also, while we're talking, even though this really doesn't have anything to do with Florida sports, the U.S. Open is currently going on in California. So we have that going on. Like I said, guys, before with basketball, I wouldn't bring up any basketball stuff unless there was something that broke. And the Orlando Magic had something going on that I wanted to bring up that I saw the other day. And they are going to interview Jason Kidd for their head coaching job. The Lakers have granted permission to assistant coach Jason Kidd interview with the Magic for their head coaching position. Reports from Melissa Rowland of Fox Sports. Kidd has had 2 stints as a head coach, guys. He led the Nets for a single season in 2013-2014 and the Bucks from 2014-2018 with a combined season record of 183 and 190 during a 4.5 years as a head coach in Brooklyn and Milwaukee, with a playoff mark of 9-15, including a lone series win in 2014. Lakers have repeatedly been impressed with Kidd's work on Frank Vogel's staff during the last 2 seasons, and believe that he should be head coach candidate again this offseason. He has already been linked to multiple vacancies, though he withdrew his name consideration for one position pulling out of the Blazers, each after being publicly endorsed by Damian Lillard. So again, guys, the Orlando Magic are possibly interviewing one Jason Kidd for their head coaching vacancy. That definitely would help. Again, guys, the Magic are a young team. They did not have the greatest of seasons a year ago. If you look back, they were the worst of the 3 teams. If you consider Toronto being a Florida team last year because they were here in Tampa, because they couldn't play in Toronto because the border was closed, and actually just Montreal just opened it up for the Montreal Canadiens to play hockey there. So the Canadian border is still closed as far as travel or anything like that. Just the NHL is the only one that got special permission. So let's hope that the border will open soon and Toronto will be able to return both the Raptors and the Blue Jays, who played here in Florida for the Raptors played all their whole season here, and the Blue Jays played part of their season in their spring training home in Dunedin before moving back to Buffalo, which is why you guys have not seen the Blue Jays logo on the show for a while because, like I said, they are no longer here in Florida. They have moved to New York, so now they are completely off of my show for the time being. All right, guys, I do have some updates. Sometime next month, I am going to upgrade this platform, and I will be going live on this platform on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok live all at the same time. So those three will all be brought in here. So I'm very looking forward to that, of having more of a crowd in here. Again, guys, it will still, even with a new roommate, and nothing is going to change. I'm still going to have my shows on Thursdays and Fridays. Kind of like that I have the whole week to prepare for all of these shows. So it's very, very nice. Been working out pretty well. And now that work is going to be settled down now from us moving, it should be nice. But again, guys, to get back to the topic, Jason Kidd is interviewing for the job for the Orlando Magic head coaching position. That's why you see the Magic logo behind me. Guys, this will be a short show. I usually have at least 3 topics per team. I only got 2. Like I said, this is going to be a short show. There's a lot of people out there celebrating Father's Day right now. So I'm going to try to keep this as short and smooth as possible this evening. So let me go ahead. Oh, looks like I have my man Adam from my Thursday show. What's up, buddy? Good evening.
Hey, brother, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. I just woke up from a nap.
Very nice. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right.
Ooh, I have a link. I'll jump in.
The Tampa Bay Rowdies guys lost last night to Pittsburgh. It's a team that they beat during last season. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds is who that is. They lost 2-1 at home. They were at home last night at Al Lang Stadium. So right now the Hounds are 4-3-2 overall for 14 points, and now they're only 4 points behind the Rowdies, who have dropped to 6-2-0 on the season. The Hounds are 0-3-3 all time at Al Lang Stadium before this match. So this is their very first win at Al Lang Stadium. It was a 2-1 victory. The Rowdies had 11 shots to Pittsburgh's 10 shots on goal. The Rowdies had 4-5 for Pittsburgh. Fouls each had 8. Corner kicks, the Rowdies had 4 to the Riverhounds 3, and possession, 69% of it was done by the Rowdies to the 31%. But then again, just like in hockey, it doesn't matter with who holds the puck. It's the matter of who scores the goals, and that's the same way it is in soccer, and that's how it ended up being last night as the Rowdies lost by a goal. Pittsburgh scored when they needed to, and that's what they did. So they did win the game, and they are moving every bit a little bit closer. So let me go ahead real quick. Let's take a look at the standings right now in the USL. Let's see. All right. So let's see here. We have Tampa Bay is still on top of the Eastern Conference Atlantic. Again, they are 6-0-2. Pittsburgh, again, has moved within 3 points of them. Hartford Athletic is within 2 at this present time, but Hartford's only played 6 matches compared to Pittsburgh's 9 and Tampa Bay's 8, which means they have 2 matches in hand. So that is that. So they still, overall, the Rowdies are still sitting pretty well. The best record so far, I believe, belongs to the Rowdies, actually. They are the only team in the league that has 6 wins on the season. They have 18 points. The next team is the RGV Toros, who have 17 points, and there's a few teams at 16. So right now, the Rowdies are the best team in the USL so far this season. Real quick, but I want to let you know that even though we muted that Tigers video on Thursday night, we still got copyrighted claims.
Okay.
I actually am in right now on the other YouTube thing. I'm actually cutting that out so that we don't get copyright for it. So I guess in retrospect, we're not going to be able to show any video until we get a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, but yeah, guys. So the Rowdies again. Yeah, again, we know they're not going to win them all. So I'm going to try to go next month to a game. There's a couple games next month at Outlying Stadium. I have never been, and I posted on Facebook that I would like to go, and I had like 7 people say they want to go with me. So I might just make a whole big night out of it, have a bunch of people go, and have a lot of fun with it. So we'll see if that'll work out or not with everyone at the time. But that was pretty. I'm happy that I have a lot of people out there that want to go to the game with me. So that's cool. But that is my Rowdies news for now, guys. So again, they'll again, they're back. They did suffer a loss at home, but then again, like I said, there's no need to worry about anything at the present moment. The next team, guys, I cover is the Orlando Pride. Now that is the ladies soccer team that plays in Orlando, and I believe they have a live game going on right now. And if last I checked, they were down 1-0 in that game. Let me check something here. Orlando Pride. Let's see. Yes, they are down 1-0 at half to the Gotham FC. So they are currently down 1 goal. The standings, they've played 6 matches, are at 3-2-1. They are 1 point behind Portland, who has 12 points. So they're again also in the top. They're in the top 2 of the 10-team league that they have. So they are doing very, very well so far. And they at the current moment, they're 3-2-1. So they so we'll have to see what is going on with them. Again, they're down 1-0 right now to Gotham FC on the road. They are in New York playing that team. And let me see something right here because I had topics about them. Let me pull this up real quick and see what. Oh, I missed. Okay, there. Okay, so that's the wrong. That should have been the Magic. Like Jason Kidd, I mentioned earlier, Becky Hammond is also interviewing for the Orlando Magic job. She's the assistant coach in San Antonio at the current moment. So that is, I accidentally put that under the Orlando Pride. It wasn't the Orlando Pride. That was the Orlando Magic. All right. So again, like I said, I mentioned earlier that Jason Kidd was interviewing for the job. So is Becky Hammond. So again, promising news for the Orlando Magic one way or the other. We'll have to wait and see who they choose. Obviously, Kidd has more pedigree with being an actual head coach in the NBA. Becky Hammond's an assistant, but you never know, guys, because maybe it's time to give the assistants a chance to try to go, and you never know what you might be able to do. Let's see. Yeah, so like I said, they do play. They kicked off at 6 p.m. The match between the Pride and the Gotham FC. See, Gotham Orlando haven't faced off since the Challenge Cup. Their last meeting left the Pride reeling in a 1-0 loss. So again, it's the same score as we speak right now. But a lot of the players, I want to say Morgan is playing with the national team right now, so I don't know if she's in the roster so far. But then again, they are only 1 point behind the top team in that league. All right. So let me go to the Orlando City, and that's the Lions. Now they won yesterday 3-2 over Toronto. And I believe, let's go back and take a look at them. Look back at the recap on that. Orlando City grabbed the 3-2 win over Toronto with a late goal by Junior Orsalo, giving the Lions a rare away victory from Orlando. The game got off to an explosive start with 3 goals in the first 10 minutes, and Orlando took it under a minute to find an opener, sent the ball down the middle to make their Canadian tenants pay early with a shot that beat their goaltender, Quentin Westberg. So again, guys, Orlando They scored. Orlando had goals at the 1 minute, 8 minute mark. Toronto had one at the 10 and 39-minute mark, and then Orlando had one at the 84th minute. So again, that was that last-minute goal there. The next time up will be Tuesday. Orlando will be at home against the San Jose Earthquakes at 7:30 p.m. If you guys do, it will be on Unimoss, TUND, and Twitter. Actually, we'll be airing it. And if you have the MLS regular season channel as well, that'll be the next game for them. Let's see where in the MLS Orlando City stands. Let's see. Orlando is currently at 15 points, tied with Philadelphia. They both trail by 5 points behind the New England Revolution. Now, New England and Philadelphia have played one more match than Orlando does, so they do have a match in hand. But right now, the Orlando is 4-1-3. They have scored 11, gave up just 6 goals. So that's not too bad. They're 2-0-2 at home and 2-1-1 away. So both they have winning records both at home and on the road. They also, as well, I believe, signed the youngest player in their franchise history the other day. They signed. Let's see how old this kid is. Homegrown contract, Thomas Williams. He is a 16 years and 10 months. Is the youngest player Orlando has signed to a first-team deal. He is the 11th homegrown player in club history and the third to sign it this year, joining forward Wilfo Rivera and midfielder Raul Aguirre from earlier in the spring. So congratulations to Mr. Williams being the youngest player ever signed by the Lions Orlando City at 16 years. Wow, that's young to be playing soccer. Congratulations to the MLS. That's awesome that someone is playing soccer at 16 years old in MLS. He must be pretty good, soccer player to sign at 16. The last team, guys, I cover in soccer is Inter Miami. They are also a MLS squad. There's another team, guys, in Miami in the USL, but I can never find any news about them. But I know they have a team, so I don't know what's up. Inter Miami did lose to DC United yesterday, 1-0. Their head coach for Inter Miami was not happy with the officiating of the game, felt that his team got cheated a little bit out of the game, out of their game. But then again, I've said this a bunch of times too. I don't really think you can say that it comes down to the officials. And just real quick, guys, the Mariners just won in extra innings over the Rays on a grand slam home run, and they won the game 6-2. So now that means the Red Sox are up by a half a game as they play each other on Tuesday, and yours truly will be at that game to watch the Red Sox and the Rays. So that should be a good game coming back as well. Inter Miami guys did also hire Craig Nipple as their academy director. I couldn't say that word. Academy director. So that's new for them. If you guys did not hear me, they were fined $2 million for they violated the MLS for I think recruiting players or something along those lines. But I talked about that a few weeks ago on this show that they were fined the biggest fine in MLS history. That was the biggest fine ever that MLS has ever dropped. So it did happen to them. The team is owned by Beckham himself. So he's a part owner in the organization. So they're trying to figure out how they can fix the problem. Let me see where Miami stands as of right now. Let me see here. Again, Orlando is there. Inter Miami has had 9 matches. Guys, they are 2-2-5. That's 2 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses. They've scored 8 goals, allowed 14, so the goal differential is a -6. They have 8 points. They are 11 out of 14 teams in the Eastern Conference of the MLS. So they have some work to do as the season continues on. They've got some work to do. So they have to clean up whatever is going on down there in Miami. But that is my soccer news, guys. As I try to cover soccer here, I didn't. Thanks to Lewis telling me that there were MLS teams that played in Florida. I didn't even know that. So just recently, I started making a little bit more time to cover more soccer talk, since the soccer season is going on as we speak. But I will jump to MLB baseball, and I cover 2 teams, guys. If this is your first show, that will be the Florida Marlins and the Tampa Bay Rays, who I just mentioned, just lost in extra innings to the Mariners, which puts them a half game behind the Boston Red Sox in the AL East, because the Red Sox lost earlier today to the Royals. So that puts them, it's a half a game that splits in between them. Now, there won't be any games for either team tomorrow, as both teams have the day off. So the Rays and Red Sox both have a day off, so no one can get any ground tomorrow because they both have a day off. The Marlins are planning to recall Jesus Sanchez from AAA Jacksonville. The 23-year-old is in line for his first opportunity in the major league level in 2021. Sanchez originally signed with the Rays and posted huge numbers in the minors lower levels. He entered the 2018 season as one of the top 50 prospects from Baseball America, and remained among the sport's top 100 minor league talents for the following 2 seasons. Miami acquired Sanchez alongside with reliever Ryan Stanek in advance of the 2019 trade deadline, sending righties Nick Anderson and Trevor Richards to Tampa Bay in return. And Nick Anderson is currently on the DEL. He got hurt early on in the season, so he is out at the present moment. But again, the Marlins are going to call up Jesus Sanchez to the majors. So congratulations to him on getting to the majors. That's cool, especially him being down in the minor leagues, and now he as well. The Marlins guys had a blowout win yesterday over the Chicago Cubs, who are one of the top teams in Major League Baseball at the current moment. Now, guys, this is from the Daily Herald, and this is the Chicago newspaper that I got this article from. So I had to go from the opposite side. The Marlins cranked 4 home runs in Saturday's game and crushed the Cubs 11-1. The 2-day totals are 7 home runs from the Floridians. They outscored the Cubs 21-3. So they pretty much beat the ever-living crap out of them over the 2 games. Let's see if the Marlins already played today, or was it just a 2-game series. Let's see. Let's see here. The Marlins lost today 2-0. Yeah, the Marlins lost today 2-0. Yeah. So that
usually the Cubs have a Sunday afternoon game.
Yeah. And let's see where the standings are for where the Marlins are at in the NL East. The Marlins are actually they're last in the division at 30-40. They're 8.5 games out of the division and 8 games out from the Mets in the division, and they're 9.5 out of the wild card. So right now, we're only 73 games into the season, or right around 73, 75 games. Still a lot of games left. I mean, still 70
Yeah,
plus,
hot in
75
July.
plus games left still in the season. So there's still time to come back. They are 5-5 in their last 10. They do have a plus 18 run differential, which is pretty good. That's a good thing to know. They're 16-14 at home, 15-26 on the road, and they will play. They're going to play, I believe, on Tuesday against the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes,
Okay.
they're playing at home against the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are coming to Miami to play the Marlins on Tuesday. But that's the next game for them. So, still, nevertheless, they beat the Cubs pretty handily in 2 games. And the Cubs, are 40-32. They're currently tied with the Milwaukee Brewers in the NL Central. So those 2 teams are at the top tied. And actually, the Cubs are the only team in the NL Central that has a plus run differential. They're plus 22. Everyone else is a minus. And you're going to listen to this. The Brewers are only a -3, but everyone else is really far down there. The Cardinals are a -31. The Reds are a -11. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are a groundbreaking -97. That is a lot of runs to give up. Now they're not the worst in all of baseball. The worst in all of baseball is a -106, and that is the Arizona Diamondbacks in run differential. The highest in the majors is a +112, and that is the Houston Astros. And the other high one is 102, and that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. So those are the 2 teams that have the highest run differential. But again, guys, the Rays did lose today. And if you did not hear the news earlier last week, Tyler Glasnow has a partially torn UCL ligament in his elbow and may have to require Tommy John surgery. And if he does, he is blaming the current major league rule on grip enhancers, that he went cold turkey against the Washington Nationals when the Rays played against them. And he said that he had muscles that he had never knew he had muscles where he had muscles at. So he is not very happy. I can unfortunately not play that rant on here because I would love to play it, but I can't. I'm going to get copyright claimed again. I don't want to do that, but I wish I could play that clip for you guys if you haven't seen it. Just type in Tyler Glasnow on YouTube, and it will give you, I think it's like a 2 or 3 minute rant that he went on not too long ago, earlier this week. The other pitcher for the Rays, who's now their number 1, Rich Hill, because Glasnow was their number 1.
Right.
MLB dropped the ball on the whole grip thing as well. Again, we talked about this on Thursday night as well, about this whole way of how do we know that they're just using it for grip and not for drop or a cut of the ball. We don't know that. They can say that. But then again, why would Major League Baseball change it mid-season? Because why they want to change it mid-season? Because there's a lot of games. We've had, how many no-hitters this year? They don't want to have hitters, guys. They want to have people scoring runs, hitting home runs. They don't want boring pitching matchups. They want homers. They want to see, 15, 14 games. They want to see runs like that.
Well,
that's one of the major reasons.
And we talked about that before.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say we talked about that before. Is that, unless your team is pitching, like if you're a casual baseball fan who doesn't really follow baseball that closely, you just watch Sunday Night Baseball, and, they got Cardinals Braves on, I don't want to watch a 2-1 pitchers duel. I want to see them out there hitting the ball.
Right.
And, you've got so many, unless it's your team pitching, if it's the Tigers or the Rays or the Red Sox, those are the teams that, okay, yeah, cool. It's it's fun to watch a pitcher's duel when it's your team.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I would like to, if I go on Tuesday, I wouldn't mind seeing a 5-4, 7-6, 8-7 game. That would be great. I'd like to see runs being scored or homers being hit. It would be nice to see a blowout if that happens one way or the other. But, the Rays have lost 6 games in a row. So, again, they're coming into the series against the Red Sox kind of not in a good spot. But then again, they play well at home. So we'll see.
Right.
We'll see how they do, at home. Right now, currently, guys, they are 43 and 30, and they're 19 and 14 at home, and 24. I guess they're better off. They're a better road team this year at 24 and 16. They're a plus 73 in the run differential department. The Red Sox come in at 43 and 29. They're a plus 34 run differential. 20 and 17 at home, 23 and 12 on the road. So just like the Rays, they are a better road team than they are a home team. So that should be interesting. We'll see how that all works itself out over the next 3 games. Let me see if I can pull up who the starting pitchers might be for the next 3 games. Let's see if they've announced that yet. I don't know. Let's see here. And the next time the Red Sox are at home, they are against the Yankees. So let's see if that gives me. Okay, so tomorrow it will be Rodriguez versus Hill. Rich Hill will pitch for the Rays. Rodriguez will pitch for the Red Sox. He's 5-4 with a 6.21 ERA. Rich Hill is 5-2 with a 3.6, and that's Gerardo Rodriguez that will pitch tomorrow for the Red Sox. His last outing, guys. Let's see if he'll give me the last time the last 7 games. He's 0-4 with an 8.55 ERA. Not very good going into that. So, yeah, he has not been too good so far this year. But then again, possibly with a struggling Rays team, unless the Rays can come out of it, which should be interesting to see over the next 3 games how the Rays and Red Sox go at each other. I have the Rays game on in the background. They're interviewing skipper Kevin Cash as we speak. But there were some hitters that went 0-4 today. Meadows and Yanni Diaz and Brett Phillips all went 0-4 in the game. Margot, G-Man Choi, Brandon Lau, and Joey Lindo only had 1 hit. So that could tell you why the game was they only scored 2 runs. So that would be that. They're going to have to do a lot more against the Red Sox, who are a pretty good baseball team. Surprised me so far this year. I didn't think that they were going to be that good of a team, but
no.
So far they've surprised a lot of people. Real quick, guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and Eat Seat delivery. How do you place your order? All right, guys, I'm going to jump now to the National Hockey League, and that's where the Tampa Bay Lightning sit. They lost last night 3-2 to the Islanders, who have evened the series at 2-2 in their Eastern Conference final situation. Now, the Lightning do find themselves in an unusual situation. This is from the website rawcharge.com, rawcharge.com. Sometimes you lay an egg and we lay one in the second period. Last night, the Islanders tied the semifinal series after beating the Lightning 3-2 at Nassau Coliseum. A sloppy performance in the second period where the Lightning allowed 3 goals, cost them a victory in the game. And I would have to agree with that. They did play a very sloppy second period. Now, the New York Islanders, guys, have gone down 2-1 in every previous series to the Penguins and Bruins, and then went on to win the next 3 games to go on to win the series. So this is something that the Islanders were kind of hoping for in a weird way to say that. Oh, the Lightning took care of the Florida Panthers in 6 and the Carolina Hurricanes in 5. So it's a very interesting predicament to where they are. Game 5 will be here in Tampa on Tuesday night. Tomorrow night. I apologize. Tomorrow night. will be back here. So it should be interesting to see how this team responds. Now, the Lightning have responded every time in the playoffs since last year. When they lose, they respond with a win in the next game. So if that is the case, they win, they lost, so now it's going to be a win. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Don't mark that down and tell me that you can guarantee anything, because you can't guarantee anything in sports. But normally the Lightning do win a game after they lose one. If that stays the same, then they will win tomorrow night, and then they'll be up 3-2 as they head back to Nassau Coliseum on Wednesday night. And then, of course, if we do go to a Game 7, it will be Friday night back here in Tampa. So that is how that will all break down. Like I said, guys, the Islanders have been down 2-1 in both against Pittsburgh and Boston, and gone on to win both series. So let's just keep that in mind. So keep that in mind, that the Islanders have won both their previous series, being down 2-1. So we'll have the Lightning, like all the Lightning fans out there, just the one thing we got to do is score first. Every time we score first, I think we're 11-1 when we score first in the playoffs. So that is something that the Lightning need to do. Come out, bring the crowd into it on Monday night. Bring the crowd into it at Amalie Arena and get the crowd into it. That will definitely help get the crowd charged up and help the team hopefully get a Game 5 win at home. And then I'll go ahead, guys, and jump to the National Football League. Here's the boys in Duval County. That's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Earlier this week, guys, I saw something that they had limited their quarterback because they were worried about him being injured. So they limited him in practice a little bit. Now, earlier this week, too, because of them finishing 1-15, the Jags finished just 30th in run defense and 31st in total sacks, indicating them that they had the worst defense in all of the National Football League last year. And this year, coming into the thing, they are also ranked near the bottom in total defense. Again, when you have a new head coach, obviously things are going to change. And you have a quarterback, and you got the stuff coming into the season. It'll be very interesting to see what is going to happen with the Jaguars so far with this year. Again, their defense is going to have to get better, guys. I can't see this team going 1-15 again. I could see this team winning at least 5 games this year. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're going to win the division. I think they should be better than the Houston Texans because the team is in shambles. I don't think they're going to compete with Indianapolis or Tennessee, who should go at each other for the division in the AFC South. But we'll see. Again, I could be wrong. Jacksonville could surprise everybody. But we'll have to wait and see how that. Trevor Lawrence, again, guys, was kind of limited in practice because, again, they're watching him as well and stuff like that. One of the things I saw today is that their current quarterback, the guy that they drafted a few years ago, Gardner Minshew, is too valuable to be traded in 2021. Now, this is quite interesting that this pops up. Again, he will be backing up Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, we know that. There's no way the Jaguars would take the number 1 overall pick and not start him week 1. That's not going to happen. So, again, Gardner Minshew would be the backup quarterback. And, again, with a new coach and new system, the Jaguars are better off keeping him than trading him away just in case something does happen to Trevor Lawrence. As you guys remember, what happened last year in Cincinnati, do you really want to see that happen to Trevor Lawrence? I would say no.
No, not really.
We want to see a repeat of Joe Burrow from last year. I don't think we want to see that. And if we do, at least the Jaguars have a reliable backup quarterback that kind of ran the offense pretty well after Blake Bortles left or was benched or whatever happened to him, and stuff like that. So that ends up being that way. But when it comes down to it, it's the Jaguars, like they said, it is smarter to keep Gardner Minshew than to trade him away. It would be nice to know, any of the Jaguar fans that are fans of the show. It would be nice to know what you guys think of that whole situation, what you guys think of Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow being part of the team. I'd like to reach out to my Jaguar fans out there that are fans of the show and are fans of the team. How do you feel right now? Do you feel that this team is on the rise? Are they going to stay the same? Are they going to be worse? I mean, obviously, the only thing that can go worse is to go 0-17 this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but we don't know that either. But then again, we'll have to wait and see. Again, I can see this team winning at least 4 or 5 games out of the 17 they're going to play this year. I don't see them losing all of their games this year. And they won the first one, guys, last year, and then went on to lose 15 in a row. So that's the bad thing about what happened in Jacksonville last year. The next team, guys, that I cover is the Miami Dolphins. Now, again, here is a team that was 1 win away from being in the playoffs last year. They lost to Buffalo in Week 17 and will miss the playoffs. This team was 10-6 a year ago after struggling before. They made some picks, again, had a bunch of picks. They signed Waddle to a contract the other day. I announced that last week on the show. But Brian Flores remains aggressive after Tua Tagovailoa had a 5-interception practice. Now, that's a little scary to think that you throw 5 picks in practice, because remember, guys, you throw 5 picks in a regular season game, you put your team really behind the 8 ball, unless your team can get 5 turnovers back the other direction. That's not going to be very, very good. So that's the question. And guys, remember this too. There's no Ryan Fitzpatrick backing him up this year. Okay. None of that now. So Ryan Fitzmagic is not there to back him up.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see what the leash is. It a short leash or is it a long leash on Tua this year with the Dolphins?
Long leash.
Long leash. Okay.
Who do you got to go to?
I forget who the backup is. He was a backup in New England and a backup in Indianapolis last year. Hang on a second. Let me look that up real quick. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. Let me see here. Let's take a look at the Dolphins quarterbacks in 2020. Let me see here. Jacoby Brissett. That was the name I couldn't remember. He's the backup quarterback, guys, in Miami. He's a reliable backup. I don't think I would put him up there with Fitzmagic. I think obviously Fitzy knew the offense. Obviously, Brissett will have to come and learn the playbook. Obviously, the offseason definitely will help that. There's more of an offseason than there was a year ago with COVID. So yes, that will be that's a definite at that point. And let me give you a breakout player from every offensive position. This is Philin Fanatic. This is a Dolphins website. That's PHINPHANATIC.com. That is the website I got this article from. So this is breakout players from every position. At quarterback, it's got to be Tua, I would imagine. I don't know why you would put. I was going to say, okay. I was going to say there wouldn't be anybody else at that point. At running back, is it Waddle? No, they put Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin will get the chance to start Miami Dolphins offense and showed last year he can handle the bulk of the work during that. Okay, so he is there. Tight end is Mike Gesicki. I'm sorry, I pronounced the name incorrectly. Mike Gesicki is the leading tight end. Offensive line is Robert Hunt. He is a tackle. He shifting from tackle to guard. Wide receiver would be Will Fuller, who they signed from the Houston Texans. I think it's a free. So there's the players that could all break out from the on offense for the Miami Dolphins this year. So again, let's see what Coach Flores does for the Dolphins. How he gets this team, how he can keep Tua's confidence up. Obviously, you can't have a 5-interception game, and hopefully you can bounce back from that. But a lot of young quarterbacks, this will be Tua's sophomore season, so we'll have to wait and see how that all breaks down with that. The last NFL team I cover is the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which my co-host said was going to go 17-0 this year. That's what he said on the other show, that they were going to go 17-0 this year. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would love to see them go 17-0. I think 15-2 or 14-3. That's just me. Again, I hope I'm wrong. It would be great to be wrong on something like that. Hopefully that is, hopefully I am wrong on something like that. I did catch an article that Tristan Wirfs hopes to be in the Pro Bowl this year in 2021. He is, of course, the 13th overall pick in last year's draft. He was a great as a right tackle. And, of course, guys, if you do not know, that is Tom Brady's blind side, okay? That's the blind side. I'm sorry, right tackle. So he's on the other side. I'm sorry. He would be on Brady's, seeing side, but still, there have been talks of moving to the left tackle position. But right now, he is hoping to get Pro Bowl aspirations this year in 2021. So let's hope to see that. That would be pretty cool to see him make the Pro Bowl as a tackle for the Buccaneers this year.
It would happen in their quest to go 17-0.
Yes, that could very likely happen. Yeah, that would be a nice thing to know that they end up that way. So yes, that would be great to see them go 17-0 and have Tristan Wirfs and a bunch of guys going to the playoff, going to the Pro Bowl on top of that, which a lot of people, including me, I'm not a huge fan of the Pro Bowl, guys. I saw this. I'm gonna share this real quick because I'm gonna share this on the air. This I can share because it's not a video, and I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble for this. But let me see something here. I wanted to show you this, guys, real quick. This is a meme by Tom Brady. Middle there. It says, "I have 10 fingers. One is occupied by my wedding ring, 7 by my Super Bowl rings. So I need to get at least 2 more before I'm done." So let me just say that out loud, that Tom Brady wants to win 2 more Super Bowls so that he can have a ring for every finger that he has on his 10. I did see something, too, the other day that he would like to play until he's 50. So I don't know what people's alterations are about that. Does he want to, does he possibly want to play? I mean, that wouldn't be too bad of an idea if he could stay healthy and do it. Why the hell not? I mean, if that's what he thinks he could do.
All right. If he's still at the top of the game,
Right. Obviously, the backup quarterback is a rookie. When it's not, I think Blaine Gabbert will be the backup. I think Kyle Trask will be the 3rd-string quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But we'll definitely give Trask some time to develop if Brady does decide to stay a little while longer.
Play another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, as a backup, they sign him, so that'll be interesting to see if Trask obviously we'll see Kyle Trask, guys, during the preseason.
Yeah.
Everything that I have read, Coach Arians is very, very happy from the college level to the pro level. guys, I mean, I would like to see Eric Lewis. I would like to see him level to the pro level quarterback someday. But Brady, I would like to see. We'll have to think. I would like to see him level to the pro level quarterback someday. And I would like now to.
Hey guys,
Hey, Lewis. Let me move to college football, and I start with the Miami Hurricanes. Again, this is a team that I've said over and over again, and I'm sure that people are tired of me talking about it, that they do start against the Alabama Crimson Tide. That is the first game that they play this season. Well, let's see how what the state of the U is as of right now. What will the next step be in 2021 for Miami? Obviously, the first thing that they probably need to do, guys, is have a decent game and maybe have an upset. I'm not calling this and saying that that's going to happen, but if the Miami Hurricanes can, somehow lose by 7 to 10 points to Alabama, I think that's a win for them. I really can say that. If they lose by a field goal, I think that that's a win.
Even if they lose by a couple of touchdowns, as long as they can keep it close.
Yes,
I agree. Pulls away with the last 10, 10 or 15, as long as they can keep it within 10 going into the fourth quarter, that's a win. If they get blown out, if you turn around and there's 8 minutes to go in the first quarter and they're already down by 21, and they've had 2 possessions and they've gone quickly out, they've gone out 3-0 quickly on both possessions. Yeah, that's going to be tough to overcome. If they can keep the game close into the fourth quarter, even if they do lose by 21 or 24, if they get a couple of late touchdowns by Alabama to put it away, you gotta take some. That'll be a huge boost for them.
Yeah, but Miami was your first game against the almighty Crimson Tide. Yeah, you got your work cut out for you. What a way to start your season.
Yeah, I would have to agree. If they can keep it within 21 to 24 points, I think Manny Diaz would say, you know what, guys, we just got beat by probably one of the best team in college football. So let's take that as a thing moving forward for the rest of the season. Because I think the rest of the season, other than of course North Carolina, Clemson, if they play the Tigers this year, other than that, Miami really. The Knowles shouldn't be that hard of a game, other than it's a rivalry game. I know they all get hard. It's a rivalry game, and you never know. Yeah. With that going on, so it will be interesting to see. And again, you know what? Wouldn't it be something if they shock the world and take Alabama out in Week 1? That would be absolutely shocking if that does.
It would be, but it's highly doubtful.
Yeah, highly.
The games.
But then again, everybody can on any given Saturday, so I wouldn't put it too much. I wouldn't say there's nothing impossible, only improbable. So we'll see how that works out. Because now, again, given the track record with Nick Saban having all this time to prepare for Miami, if he does his homework, which we all know he will, if Coach Diaz does his homework, and they can slow down Alabama for a little while and get some points, you never know if Miami can pull off an upset. So we'll have to wait.
Alabama's going to start a new quarterback this year.
Correct. I actually was an Alabama fan Friday at work, and he told me that he didn't think they were going to win the national championship this year because they had lost so many players to the NFL. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right.
Now, he could have been pulling my leg, too, on top of that. So I don't know, but I'm just saying that's what it is. But, yeah, guys, I mean, the Hurricanes do have a tall test in the beginning of the season playing Alabama. Yeah. But you know what? That's the game they picked to start their season off with. So, good luck to them. Yeah, the company.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big luck to them. I mean, unlike that other team in Central Florida.
Yep.
UCF,
yep. The Yep. The next team I cover, guys, is the boys in Tallahassee, and that is the Florida State Seminoles. And if you guys do not know that are not from the state, Tallahassee is the capital city of the state of Florida. Now here, they changed their tailgating hours for Florida State football. With the return of tailgating also comes a new policy in addition. Lots opening 5 hours before kickoff. They're also open no later than noon. So again, all booster parking lots will be open for tailgating 5 hours before kickoff and no later than noon for all games. This includes Notre Dame, which kicks off at 7:30 p.m., and Jacksonville State, which kicks off at 8 p.m. Booster parking lots open at noon for the first 2 home games. So if you think about that, guys, that means that they will be opening 7.5 to 8 hours before game time. Well, you could do a bunch of tailgating in that time frame.
Yeah.
Bunch of tailgating in that time frame. You could eat multiple meals, all 3 meals in an 8-hour stretch. You know, that's interesting that they're going to do that.
So if there's a new home game, they're going to open at 4 a.m. for tailgating? Oh, brother.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to when USF plays Florida this year. If I get credentials again, I want to see how many people are tailgating at Raymond James Stadium. Usually when I go and there's a team like Florida there, you get there early and they're there at like 7 o'clock in the morning tailgating. So I mean they're there really, really early. Yeah. Because the Gator game and the USF game kicks off at noon, so they're going to be there early. That's going to be an early kickoff. It would be kind of cool if College Game Day was there. I don't think it'll be there, but it would be kind of cool if it was.
No, they'll be at Alabama and
I'd like them to come here.
Miami.
But the USF Florida game is on the 11th. I think Alabama plays Miami on the 4th. I think. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's when they kick off. I'm sure that there's another game that is much more importance during that week, but you never know. Who knows how that'll all work itself out. Hopefully Lee Corso's back with the crew, because I know last year he was off campus when they went anywhere they went. He was off campus due to COVID reasons. So
older than dirt.
Here we are with recruiting for FSU. More than 15 different high schools visited head coach Mike Norvell's big man camp hosted on June 16th, bringing exposure and coaching to high school players from all over the country. So, again, there's another way for coaches to get kind of a look at their 2022 recruits as well. There's one more intriguing matchup. Isaiah Hastings is the top one that was there. He holds offers from Notre Dame, Arizona State, Kansas State, Purdue, West Virginia, Tennessee, Indiana, and Georgia. So those are all interesting prospects for him to go to. Obviously, you got some Big Ten teams in there. You've got SEC in there. Pac-12 is in there. So independent. So it should be interesting to see where he goes if he chooses to go to Tallahassee. I think that will be a win for Coach Norvell and the Seminoles if that is the way it breaks down. But yes, we'll have to wait and see where he goes there. But I'll be talking more about recruiting, guys, because that seems to be all the news I can find on teams right now is recruiting news. The season's not quite here yet. The next team I cover is the boys in Gainesville, and that's the Florida Gators, who, again, like I said earlier, they open up on the road against USF on September 11th. So here is how the Gators rank. This is Swamp, or 247sports.com. Swamp 24/7 is the Gators spot of that website. Preseason college football magazine started to hit magazine stands the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So here's how they have the Florida Gators ranked during the preseason. The good news is quarterback Emory Jones has shown flashes of brilliance as a dual threat.
I would fall on the Kirby Smart side here, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. I got about 2 or 3 truths that I can come up with off the top of my head.
Let me stop that so I don't get copyright claim for that video.
Yeah.
brilliance of a dual threat change up for 3 years. The top 3 running backs return. They'll be joined by explosive Clemson transfer DeMarcus Bowman. So that is that. The bad news is the defense was historically bad last season as Florida in its worst since World War I by keeping coordinator Todd Grantham and firing 2 secondary coaches. Maul essentially scapegoated the defensive backfield, which is even less experienced this year. Let me check, guys, real quick. Orlando Pride has tied the game at 1 over Gotham SC. So that's interesting. The Gators are the second best team in the SEC East so far. But what does that mean? It means they'll have to do a little differently this year. They'll have to control the ball more, which in turn might keep their defense off the field. I would imagine, guys, that if the team that's in front of them has to be the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC East, I wouldn't say Tennessee. I would say, if anybody, it would be Georgia. And fine. Usually that's the team that they compete with. And a lot of people do not know, but that's actually the Gators' rival. A lot of people will say it's the Seminoles. That's the in-state rival, but our true rival is the Georgia Bulldogs, like Adam, like Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan, Ohio State, excuse me. That's your true rival, even though you have to say in the same state. Yeah. Florida has Florida State in the state, but our true rival is with the Georgia Bulldogs. So that's a game that we play on a neutral site. We don't play in Gainesville. We don't play in Athens. We play in Jacksonville. So that's where that game is held every year. The largest outdoor cocktail party, as it's entitled, every year. I would like to go out there, so that would be that. I don't drink, but it would be interesting just to go and experience it in Jacksonville.
Yes.
And you know what? It would be interesting to go with somebody that did drink, to let them get bastard off their ass and be there just to watch the football game with them.
No, I do drink, but I don't drink to get hammered though.
If you're buying, I'm in.
There you go. So I was just talking about the defensive coaches being fired. They did hire one of them, Wesley McGriff, is the new one. So he has his work cut out for him.
Emory Jones' expectation level.
He has his work cut out for him, obviously, because that was the weakness of this team last year. They gave way too many points, way too many yards in the air. The good news is
incredibly undisciplined at times.
And that is another thing that came up as of if you guys remember the whole LSU throwing the shoe situation, cost them that football.
Game 1.
Yep. So that's another thing that it will have to get fixed during the offseason. More discipline on the defensive side of the ball. We'll have to wait and see how that all breaks out because, like I said, Emory Jones is a dual threat quarterback. He can run better than Kyle Trask, and the throw is going to be about equal between the two quarterbacks. But yes, they did lose Kyle Pitts, who was a main weapon. Congratulations to the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully, he turns out to be an absolute stud there in Atlanta. Help Matt Ryan for a future quarterback there for the Falcons in the future. But that is that. So I'll keep giving you guys updates again on the power, what they call the Power 3 teams in the state of Florida. Now, here is a team that wants to be a power team.
Yeah.
Needs to be a power team. It's UCF. Now, here is something that I read today because I was doing research today. Again, with me being so busy at work, I was unable to do a lot of finding stuff and even for both our shows, even, excuse me, guys, on the Thursday show too. But one thing they have to do, obviously, is win the recruit battle over USF. Obviously, if you can do that, that's your rival team. That's always a good thing to beat your rival, not only on the field, but off the field as well.
Right.
So obviously, if you can beat USF, and again, and a lot of times you can kind of point that UCF should win the recruiting battle because if you think about it, you have won more games over the last few years, but USF did own the rivalry up to I think the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
so now neither team again is in a Power 5. We know that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But now here's something that I read today via Sports Illustrated that UCF would like to move to the ACC. Now, here's my here's why that I do not think that will happen, and it's most likely unlikely because that's what the article listed down, that this team moving to the ACC. Guys, we all know that the Power 5 only brings in teams for one reason, monetary value to the conference.
Right.
They don't bring teams in just for the hell of it. They bring them in. So the only thing I can think of is now you're going to have Florida State and UCF in the ACC, if that is to come to a head and they do decide to bring this team in. But why, if that's the case, if you're going to do that, why not bring USF in as well to the ACC? I know obviously USF's record is worse than UCF's record at the present moment. But if you bring one in, why not bring the other in? It doesn't really make too much sense to hold on and not bring both of them in. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with you guys. I really honestly do not think that is going to happen anytime soon on either front at that point with that. But
yeah.
So UCF will continue to be in the AAC, and we'll have to wait and see where
the ACC
and USF go if they stay in that conference or they do someday move to a Power 5. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays itself out. But that was an article that I caught today that they've been talking to the ACC about moving the Knights to the ACC. Again, I always end my show with the South Florida Bulls, and now this is not all football related. There's an article that came out the other day that the men's basketball program has released Tom Herron. If you guys do not know the whole story about him, most of the USF men's basketball team has transferred because of racial remarks by this coach. And let me tell you how bad that sucks today, that we still have that kind of shit going on, because I'm allowed to cuss on this show. So this shit going on in the world with racism and sexism, where people need to watch obviously what they say, but number two, why are you hating on kids? I don't care what age you are.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to go after somebody for their race, sex, or whatever, gender, whatever. It doesn't matter. They shouldn't have to be picked on. And now Tom Herron has been removed from the team. Now they're going to have to rebuild the men's basketball program at USF. Coach Kelly, Michael Kelly's the AD. He's going to have some work to do this offseason to bring the USF men's basketball team back, because the women's team is outstanding. Coach Fernandez has had them playing very, very well. The Bulls didn't make it to the women's NCAA tournament last year. So then again, they've been pretty damn good over the last few years. And Coach Fernandez has been there for 20 years with that program. Now the football team will begin, guys, on the road. Their first home game is against Florida on the 11th, at noon. They will start the season on the road against NC State. That game will be on the ACC network, and it will be hosting USF. It will be kickoff at 7:30. It's the first time since 2016 that NC State will open the season on a Thursday. The last time these two teams faced each other was in 2008. So that is how that will go this year. So this is the second time that these two teams have played against each other. First time in over 13 years ago. But it will be so the Bulls will open up on the road at 7:30 and then come home to play the Gators at noon on for their first home games. They have a couple big games there, big teams to start the season off before they go to their AAC schedule later on during the season. But guys, that usually is the time for me to wrap up my show. I always do end it with USF, being that they're the team that are closest to me in Tampa. Sunshine State Sports Chatter, guys, is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, in-store delivery, pre-order, express pickup, in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And again, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is part of NGSC Sports. Guys, remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. And we are also being aired live on Coast to Coast Entertainment Network as well. I haven't seen Chris the last couple of weeks, so I hope I didn't scare him away or anything like that. I would like to.
I didn't either.
I like to bring him back on when the Cowboys play the Buccaneers in week 1 because that's his team. And I like to bring a guy on and get an outsider's perspective on everything. But as I do at the end of every show, guys, I want to thank the doctors, nurses, and first responders, the true heroes of the pandemic that is now, thank God, coming to an end as the cases are starting to come down. Everyone's going to get vaccinated. That's good. If you are up for it, great. Hopefully someday we all get vaccinated. That would be fantastic. To the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your service, guys, and sacrifice. We wouldn't be able to be here doing this 2-3 days a week. And then also to the police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you guys as well for keeping us safe here domestically. Guys, there will not be either this show or the Walker Report next week as I'm getting my place ready for my roommate to move in. But we will be back the first week in July, which will follow the 4th of July holiday, which will be nice. That will be great. I get Monday the 5th off for a federal holiday because the holiday falls on a Sunday. So that is cool. When a federal holiday falls on a Sunday, we get the next day off. And then we got a new holiday too, guys. If you did not hear,
yes,
June 19th is now a holiday. It's been signed by President Biden. So that is cool too for next year. But guys, before I go, also just again, if you missed the first part of the show, I want to wish happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, both the ones who are here and the ones who have left us are in heaven. To the single moms out there as well that don't have a dad, that don't have dads with their kids, as you as well, being a single parent. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head out of here. I want to thank both my co-hosts from my other show to join me tonight. I will see you guys in a couple weeks. As like I said, I will be off next week. But until then, guys, everyone stay safe out there, and we'll be back in a few weeks. Until then, peace.
Bye for now.